Your excuses are killers of souls. And what I mean by that is that if you're not living in your purpose, bro, then your gifts, your skills, your talents, your abilities can literally be saving others and either leading them to Christ or at least helping them live a healthier life, and then eventually hopefully becoming a Christian. Because there's a lot to it, but I believe, it's not lives at stake, it's souls. And God has given us all our own unique skills and abilities. We have bastardized, like, especially American culture, just Christianity here in America. And if you haven't seen it, then I love you. I'm sorry. But brohole, you have been living under a rock, because it is all around us, man. We claim to be one nation under God. It's on our money, which, that's not the God of the Bible. You can clearly tell. So nowadays when somebody's like, oh yeah, man, I love God, normally you're like, okay, which God? Because it's just unfortunate. Don't want to get too deep into that, but on a future episode, more than likely, I probably will. I just want to say, just be careful. And something I got today was, you can't hide your purpose from God. Why? It's because He created you. And it's fascinating because you were freaking created, I mean, not in a physical form, but with the mindset of God, if He has a mind. Like, we were made in His image, of course, and before the whole world was created, man, He knew everything you were going to do. He knew your faults. He knew your abilities, your capabilities. He knew everything you were going to achieve in this life. And bro, that is awesome. And too many of it's like too many of us, and this was me for the longest time, for decades, man, decades. I would try to hide who I was and what I wanted to do, because I just felt like, ridicule. I would feel like I was going to get ridiculed by so many people, and I was a freaking huge people pleaser. I'll be honest, I mean, sometimes I still do struggle with that because I just love people so much, but the older I'm getting, let me rephrase that, the wiser I'm getting, the more I realize how limited our time is. And I'm like, bro, I'm working 2 jobs, I'm volunteering at church, and my mornings are freaking crazy busy. Well, not busy. My mornings are crazy productive. And I try to get all this stuff done and then have family time later after my long work days. And dude, it's rough whenever you're trying to build a business doing that. And that's why I'm so stoked that I'm doing this and that you're watching this. If you're currently still watching this right now, thank you. But it's just a process and a grind. And I want you to see what I am going through, what I am doing. Because whatever I tell you, whatever I teach you, I want you to know that I have been there. I've done it, man. Boots on the ground, and I have your back. So what I share with you are just life lessons that I've learned. We can do right things, like go to church, read the Bible, and help our neighbors, so our brothers and sisters. God is as concerned about the why behind what we do as the what we do. So God is concerned about what we do and what the reasons are behind it. It's the same, for like if you're a joyful giver. God would rather you be joyful to give money to church or to charity than to hate doing it. And bro, remember, don't ever hold yourself to a super high expectation, because we're never going to be here. But that's why it is so important that we aim to this level. I think it was Les Brown. He said something along the lines of, I'd rather aim for the moon and miss, because then I'd be shooting for the stars. And I'm like, dude, not Les Brown, man. He's a smart, wise fella. And he has such a crazy, amazing story. Yeah, when I say crazy, I just mean incredible. That's just my terminology. I know it makes so much sense, right? But it's amazing, because he was literally labeled like retarded in his whole life. And that's what he filled his head up with. And it wasn't until later in life, I think probably college level, he realized, he's like, wait, that's just what I've been told. There was somebody who spoke to him that really, like, literally flipped that switch and really woke him up. And then he started to change the way he talked to himself. And because he changed the way he talked to himself, that changed the way he thought about himself. And then because he was thinking differently, he would notice opportunities, because that's what he was thinking, so he would notice them. And it's how our brain, our mind actually works. If all we do is say negative things all the freaking time, that's literally all our brain, because it's adapting to it, it's adapted to that over time. It's only going to look for the negative results. And that can, man, being negative, dude, it can make you age faster. It can make you show these ridiculous, you can have so many health issues. It's just freaking crazy. And you'll only be like in your early 20s. I have worked with kids nowadays man, so many kids nowadays, they don't really have work ethics. They're like, oh, I'm going to be a millionaire by the time I'm like 3. I'm like, well, excuse me, kids. That's a toddler. But you know what I mean. And I've worked a lot of labor-based jobs. It's so wild, just the attitudes they have and how lazy they are. And me, as someone who is almost twice their age, for one, it's because I have Jesus in my life. But I work 10 times harder than they do. And I do multiple jobs at once, even outside of my job description, which I don't mind. I just want to stay busy. And it's so wild where that's going. And unfortunately, like the youth nowadays, whenever, later on down the road, they might have their aha moment and things will start making sense to them. And they're like, man, I really should have worked on my attitude earlier in life. And I really should have worked on my mindset, because my mindset's been so negative for like 10 years. Now I need to retrain it and literally show it how to think, because too many of us let our mind run the show. And what I mean by that is we let our mind tell us how to think instead of we tell our mind how to think. And David Goggins is a really good example. Yeah, dude does have a potty mouth, but he makes a lot of sense in what he says. And he hasn't just talked the talk, man. He has walked the walk. So it's ridiculous, man. Like, I remember when I was going to get his first book, Can't Hurt Me, there was several reviews that were just saying, oh, there's so many cuss words in this book. And I'm like, who freaking cares, man? You're more than likely never going to see this guy in your life. And the man has been through more things than the average reader has ever been through in their life. And I just think it's so crazy to me. That's the only thing these people pick out of the negative, but that's on them. Like, I actually listened to the audiobook of it, dude, and now I just got a second book a while back. Haven't read it yet, but I'm excited. But anyway, he is a really good example. There are so many incredible stories out there about men living in their purpose and things like that. And the stories are a dime a dozen, man. And that will be you. Not might be, it will. You just need to focus on it, bro. And you can do this. It's not impossible. I'm like right now, I'm working on building a community, and I want us just to hold each other accountable and encourage each other, because encouragement is the biggest thing, at least for me. And I know that there are millions of other men out there like me who want to do more, be more, and live more with their life and have the freedom and abundance that they are supposed to have in life. And I know they can do that. And from what I found out through so much trial and error, mainly I'm thick-headed, so it takes a while for things to stick. But outside of that, like, you've got to work on a killer morning and evening routine, which is what I help my guys with. And once you start working on those routines, you can still have the rest of your day. And even when you have incredibly full days, when you wake up earlier, and then when you go to bed a little bit later, just documenting things. And like, that's one thing I'll do, just journal your evenings, like what worked, what didn't. But it also just depends on the man, on the dude I'm talking to, or as I call my warriors. This helps you having this routine. Enjoy the journey, because too often, bro, we get distracted. And if you're like me and you have ADHD, I've had it since the 5th grade, and I have found like methods to help like that with stuff, but we tend to fall back into old habits sometimes when you're not taking it seriously and someone is not holding you accountable. So that's why accountability is so freaking important. All right, bro, I'm going to jump off here. I want you to have a great day, man. You know why? What? Yeah, because God made this day for you. See ya.